Have you ever stayed somewhere that was slowly hurting you, not because you were weak, but because leaving felt like failure? Not because you didn't try, but because you kept telling yourself, I should be grateful. I owe them. I just need to hold on a little longer. Asterisk. Most of us don't realize it, but that's how people disappear from their own lives. Quietly, politely, one day at a time. This is a story about a man who believed that staying proved his worth. And the moment he learned that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. Stay with me until the end. There's one honest question waiting there that might sound uncomfortably familiar. There was once a small town where everyone knew everyone. In that town lived a young man named Daniel. He worked in a family-owned shop run by his uncle. Every morning, Daniel unlocked the doors before the sun came up. Every night, he locked them long after the streets were empty. Customers praised the business. They thanked his uncle. They said how lucky he was to have such a hard-working nephew. Daniel stood nearby, quiet, invisible. When something went right, it was never because of him. When something went wrong, it was always his fault. He lifted heavy boxes until his back burned. He cleaned floors until his hands cracked. And still, his uncle called him careless, lazy, never good enough. Friends noticed the change in him, the way his laughter faded, the way his shoulders slumped forward. "Why do you stay?" they asked. Daniel always gave the same answer. "He gave me a chance when no one else would. Leaving would make me ungrateful." Years passed like this. At first, Daniel told himself it was temporary. Just one more busy season. Just one more year. If he worked harder, surely things would change. They didn't. One evening, after being scolded in front of customers, Daniel sat alone near an old fountain in the town square. The water reflected the sky, open, calm, free. Everything his life didn't feel like. An elderly woman came to fill her bucket. She paused when she saw him. "You're carrying something heavy," she said gently. Daniel looked down. "I work hard," he replied, "but it's never enough." She nodded, as if she understood more than he'd said. "Come with me tomorrow morning," she said. "I want to show you something." At dawn the next day, Daniel met her at the edge of town. She led him behind her small house, where a quiet garden waited. Birds stirred in the early light. "5 years ago," she said, pointing to a young tree near a wall, "I planted this here, too close to the stone." The wall blocked the sun. The tree's trunk curved awkwardly, bent toward the light it could barely reach. "It tried so hard," she continued. "It twisted itself just to survive." Then she pointed across the garden. In the open space stood another tree, strong, bright, full of life. "Last year I moved it," she said, carefully. "I gave it room." Daniel stared. "It looks healthy." "It is," she smiled. "The curve never fully disappeared. The past leaves its marks. But look at the branches. They grow straight now." She turned to him. "Sometimes staying isn't loyalty. Sometimes it's fear dressed up as responsibility." Her words settled deep in his chest. "That tree didn't fail," she added softly. "It just needed better soil." That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He kept seeing the bent trunk. He kept wondering how many years he had spent reaching for light that never came. For the first time, he imagined a different life. Not an easy one, just one where he didn't feel smaller every day. The next morning, Daniel stood inside the shop, hands shaking. "I'm leaving," he said quietly. "I'm thankful for the opportunity, but I can't stay." His uncle's face tightened. "After everything I've done for you? Ungrateful." The guilt rose fast. Familiar. Heavy. He almost apologized. Almost stayed. Then he remembered the tree in the sunlight. "I am grateful," Daniel said, "but I need to go." He walked out. No one chased him. No one called him back. And yet that first step away felt heavier than all the years he had stayed. The weeks that followed weren't easy. Money was tight. He took small jobs, carrying supplies, fixing fences, helping wherever he could. But something was different. People noticed his effort, his honesty, They spoke to him with respect. Eventually, a local trader offered him steady work. Not praise for show, but real guidance. When Daniel did well, he was acknowledged. When he made mistakes, he was taught. Slowly, he changed. His shoulders straightened. His smile returned. He laughed again, surprised by the sound of it. One afternoon, he returned to the old woman's garden. The tree stood tall, covered in blossoms. "Thank you," Daniel said. She smiled. "You already knew. I just helped you see it." Years passed. Daniel built a good life. Not perfect, but honest. And whenever he felt himself shrinking again, at a job, in a relationship, in a role that asked him to disappear, he remembered the tree. He learned that leaving wasn't quitting. Sometimes leaving was choosing life. So let me ask you something gently. If nothing changed, if this stayed exactly the same for the next 5 years, would you become more yourself or less? Don't rush to answer. Just notice how your body reacts. Peace is a clue. Tightness is too. You don't need a plan. You don't need permission. Sometimes courage begins with listening. If the story spoke to you, share it with someone who might need it. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe and stay a while. Thank you for listening.